Kwamba Waziri Matiang'i tayari ameanza kuzungumzia usalama.
Naam, bila shaka mtazamaji, Waziri wa Usalama wa Ndani Daktari Fred Matiang'i amekutana na machifu na washikadau wengine katika sekta ya usalama hapa jijini Nairobi, ambapo anazungumzia sana masuala ya uchaguzi mkuu ujao siku 3 zijazo. Sasa ningependa tumsikize waziri yeye asema nini kwa sasa.
The National Security Council is chaired by His Excellency the President. And I have to say here that I have expressed clearance from the President to do this press conference because I couldn't if I didn't have clearance from the President to do it, because that is how an orderly country is run. 2, you go to the National Security Advisory Committee after that, and the National Security Advisory Committee is comprised of the technical officers, the heads of the security agencies, and the others, who manage the security institutions across the country. Then from there we go to the respective ministries, and from the ministries we go to the regions, from the regions we go to the counties, from the counties we go to the sub-counties, all the way to the sub-locations. Right from the sub-location, the Assistant Chief chairs the Security Committee at the sub-location level. The Chief chairs the Security Committee at the location level, and all the way to the National Security Council. The security sector is a very regimented arrangement. You don't have the freedom and you have no capacity to work outside of it. When we take decisions, for example, if we have to communicate policy to the chiefs and to the DCs and to the regional commissioners, it has got to flow directly from the National Security Council. I am not aware, because there doesn't exist a discussion that has happened at the National Security Council authorizing us to meet the chiefs and instruct them to campaign for anyone. And if His Excellency the Deputy President has got evidence to that effect, he should provide it to the public, because that evidence would reside in the minutes of the National Security Council or in the agenda of the National Security Council, and then that communication will be translated in a memo by the head of the public service, who is a secretary to the council, which I have not seen. I am not aware of it. Have public servants been mobilized to campaign for any particular candidate? The answer is no, because that information would be resident in a circular by the head of the public service. I have not seen one. I have not seen any communication from the Public Service Commission itself to public servants. And public servants are all governed by a code of conduct, which is very strict on how these things are supposed to be done. Thirdly, my friends, all meetings we have with chiefs and assistant chiefs are held in public. We either meet in county commissioners' offices, in church halls, in schools. The most recent meeting that P.S. Kibicho and I had with the chiefs of Nyamira and Kisi was held at Tombe Girls, in a public school, a public place where everybody can access. Government is not a secret society. These allegations create an impression that government has been operating like a secret society. Government is not a secret society, which meets somewhere under a tree and conspires. We are not engaged in any conspiracy against anyone. And the things we do are guided by an agenda. And in most cases, we take notes of this. And I am not aware, and we have never had meetings anywhere to instruct chiefs or instruct assistant chiefs to do whatever needs to be done. Fourthly, which I think is an important point to make, the interface between national government and county governments in the implementation of public policy is done through the National Government Administration. We have worked with chiefs and assistant chiefs and our deputy county commissioners on 100% transition. We have worked with them on the war against FGM. We have worked with them on the gender violence. We've worked with them on a huge number of issues before. And we hold these meetings openly. Right now, as I speak to you, the Ministry of Health is running a campaign jointly with the Ministry of Interior on the triple threats, the resurging numbers of HIV/AIDS cases across the country, gender violence, sexual harassment, and so on. And the Ministry of Health officials and health parastatals are teaming up with chiefs and assistant chiefs across the country to hold meetings, such as happened in Kiambu last week, and the meetings are taking place across the country. If you see chiefs and assistant chiefs meeting with public health officials, that is what they are discussing. And all these people going there, how can it be that we go to those meetings to discuss elections or voting for this person or the other person? There's nothing truthful about this. All these are just lies. Plainly speaking. Have the PS and the CS been involved in mobilizing chiefs and intimidating them? How can you do it? Because we are bound by our constitution, we are bound by our law, We work in a manner that we know we must be accountable for the things we do. And for anything we do, we can and will be called to account, on anything we do. I am not aware, and actually I can speak authoritatively, that my peers and I have not engaged in these kinds of things. Every time we have had meetings, we sit down with these wonderful people to review security deployment, to do, planning for the country, to ensure that, our people are being sorted out and are being managed well across the country. I was in Molo the day before yesterday, where we had a large meeting looking at what are the issues that we have to deal with, are we prepared, are we ready, with all the 14 county commissioners and all the 14 county police commanders and the teams that form or comprise the Rift Valley. And we've done this. The week before I was in Coast Province for the same reasons. We are not meeting to tell chiefs what to do. Finally, suffice it to say, chiefs are not children. They are not 12-year-olds to be guided and to be dictated upon. I can tell you for a fact, about half of the chiefs chiefs in the country are even older than me. Some of these are seasoned people, very experienced people, very well trained. We have relied upon them on a number of issues. Now, it's very sad, honestly, that the Deputy President singles out 4 of our senior administrators. The County Commissioner for Uasin Gishu, Mr. Kihara, the County Commissioner for Nakuru, Mr. Mbui, the County Commissioner for Trans Nzoia, Mr. Ojwang, and our Regional Commissioner for Rift Valley. And to make allegations that are not substantiated. My friend, even the most rudimentary way of addressing issues, even the most basic of common senses, will tell you that if you allege that a meeting has taken place, supply the dates and say, on 17th of July, at this particular time, Mr. Mali Mohammed, the Regional Commissioner for Rift Valley, met A, B, C, D. How can you, honestly, make claims like those against senior administrators, just sweeping claims that you cannot substantiate, you are not able to prove that these people are having night meetings, they are moving around and so on and so forth? It is unfortunate that is coming from a senior leader in the country. We know these officers, they work for us. We work with them. We have faith in these 4 officers. Our 47 county commissioners in the country, our 8 regional commissioners in the country are some of the senior-most officials in the national government administration. Some of them are very highly trained and experienced people. Mr. Maalim, who's being insulted in this case and being accused falsely, is a decorated officer. Our new regional commissioner for Rift Valley, Mr. Mali Mohammed, is a decorated officer who has an impeccable record, and his file is there for everyone to see, who has served as county commissioner in more than 6 counties in the country. His performance has been rewarded even by the Public Service Commission. He has been named the Public Servant of the Year before, even before we ourselves started working with him. This is a decorated officer who is now being accused of doing illegal things. It is unfair that you would treat public officers in this kind of manner. And on that note, I want to say this to all my brothers and sisters in the National Government Administration and in the police service. At all ranks, from Assistant Chief to Regional Commissioner, from police constables to the Inspector General, you are the people who have held this country together during times of challenge such as this. Unfortunately, we cannot speak like them, like the politicians speak. So we don't have the licenses of language to insult people and say all manner of things. Let us mind our country. There's a country to manage. Ignore these things. Do not be discouraged and do not be heartbroken. Do not be disheartened. We will all be accused of all manner of things. I know that at a time like this during the campaign, nerves are raw, and people are now venting their frustrations, their bent-up emotions and disappointments and so on, are all now being vented, and the anger is being projected on public administrators. Let us carry on. Many of my senior colleagues, like the regional commissioners, Mr. Thuku is here, have done elections more than I have done. Some of our senior police officers who are standing here with me, our Deputy Inspector General of Police, Mr. Mbowa, DIG, Gabo, and all these wonderful people, our own Inspector General of Police, Mr. Kinoti, you've done elections before, more than now. Let us just persevere, remain focused on the work that we have to do, and deliver for the country. That is the work we have at hand. And we cannot speak like those people. we don't have that license of lying, to the public and saying things we cannot justify. Unfortunately, though, I have also noted cases where members of that group of politicians even try to single out the chiefs and name chiefs and try to profile chiefs and so on. On that particular one, I want to be very frank. Mr. Kinoti knows this. We are documenting every one of these criminal activities because profiling public servants like chiefs and assistant chiefs, circulating their numbers and accusing them falsely, is endangering the lives of our public servants. These crimes are not covered by the statute of limitation. Some of these leaders need to know they can and will actually be held to account at some point in their lives for some of these things. People have to be responsible in the things they do. I can't stand up in the country and point out and say Mr. Gabo is doing ABCD when I have no evidence. So that now I incite the public against the DIG in charge of administration. This is irresponsible behavior. And this is unconscionable conduct. But for some of these leaders, they think it's fair game and it's okay to say the things they are saying and to do the things they are doing. But it's unfortunate for our country. Finally.
Mtazamaji, huyu hapo ni Waziri wa Usalama wa Ndani Daktari Fred Matiang'i akizungumza pamoja na washikadau wengine na wakuu katika sekta ya usalama humu